The question was, on what basis can you say secular morality is better than Islamic religious morality?
Okay.
So we'll
So
start with that one, and then there's one more.
okay. One subtle distinction I need to make before we start is what's the goal of the moral framework. Okay. Islamic morality isn't always about making the human experience the best possible that it could be. A lot of the time, Islamic morality is about not incurring the wrath of an omnipotent, omniscient being, and it's also to get his pleasure. So a lot of the times, you're arguing these two different frameworks are trying to achieve a completely different goal. Where the secular goal, let's say, you can go by axioms like uh, I want to increase human happiness at an individual and societal level and help the environment. Let's just say this is your axiom, right? And people go off on that. The problem is, I have no problem accepting that, yes, morality is a subjective thing. Morality is, like any other thing, a biological adaptation that we humans come up with to help us survive in a changing world around us. So the things change around us, our moral values change to accommodate that change. That's the beauty of secular morality. In anthropology, we keep telling people that there's a functionalist approach on morality. No moral framework is inherently better or worse because the words good or better don't really have a meaning if you go into the philosophical deep end. They all were there to serve a purpose, right? So, for example, if the purpose of a certain belief, no matter how absurd, was to aid people in survival by pushing them to, let's say, go hunt more, then yeah, that belief is okay. There's this approach too. Now, what I would say is morality should not be second. I think it's Arthur Clarke that said that one of the biggest tragedies that had happened in human history is morality was hijacked by religion. And I'm going to do this thought experiment now. And what I want to understand is religious people don't realize that they are also, their whole moral framework is also subjective. Take this. Ask a Muslim, is incense objectively immoral? If he says yes, for example, incest, if he says yes, then you appeal to Adam and Eve. How can something be objectively immoral and then Adam and Eve doing it? And if the God is omnipotent, omniscient, he could have easily avoided this thing, but he chose to start humanity in this way, right?
Yeah.
And you see that the progression of morality from different prophets changes every time. Every holy book has different things. Even within the Quran, morality changes and evolves, where you first were to like lock women in houses for
Mm.
adultery, but then you have to whip and lash them and then stone them. Or the alcohol, where initially it was okay, then it was banned only for salah, then it was completely banned. The point is, if to an external observer like me, I'm standing here and I look at this Abrahamic moral framework, I see a bunch of people in different eras of history erupting and making claims about morality, but none of them are able to justify the objectivity of their claim or the existence of their deity. Which brings me back that religious morality in its true core is indistinguishable from moral relativism, but most people don't realize that. Um, in the end, what secular morality is, what do you even mean by secular morality? Like, it's just, do you mean the morality of Stalin or Hitler or today's 21st century human rights? And that's what I'm going to get back to is morality has always been as what humans have collectively agreed upon. Uh, and that's how it's always going to be. And it will change. Like, for example, 100 years from now, you might find that people viewing the modern 21st century industrial age as modern day economic slavery. You will see people like that, right? So the point is that I don't really see the moral argument as even a relevant argument for God. It's a complete non sequitur. Okay. Um, at the end, this is my 2 cents. What I would say is that humans have demonstrated that they have the capability of coming up with better, let's say in a sense, like ideas on morality that lead to greater happiness and life satisfaction in human society, but they also have the capacity to come up with the most bizarre, absurd, and nonsensical frameworks, as we see in the Bible and the Quran, and even in modern day, like Stalin, Hitler, and whatnot. Point is, we need to work together to come up with a framework that will increase human societal and individual happiness and help our environment and ensure the survival of our future generations in a way that harms the least people and increases human happiness to the maximum. And again, I admit that these axioms that I am making are subjective, but that's all the best we've got. I think I spoke for a bit.
That's a great answer. I don't have anything to add to that. Thinker man, thanks for your question.